Alright, guys, we're going to be talking about this absolute banger card going down in the UFC tomorrow night. And we'll start with the canceled bouts. I mean, Mick Parkin pulling out. Oh my gosh, that's just horrible. What are you going to do without Mick Parkin? That sucks so much, dude. We need Mick Parkin. We love Mick Parkin. I mean, the card without him is just so much worse. It's just, oh my god. And the other one earlier, uh, I wasn't even really paying attention. One of them pulled out, and then one of them made weight and was crying on the scale. Call me a casual, call me whatever you want. I don't really pay attention to unranked women's fights. It just doesn't, you know, excite me. Because there's in some of the men's weight divisions, the unranked, like unranked heavyweights ass. I don't like flyweight. That's a very casual take. I don't care. I don't like flyweight. I think it's boring. I think they have squeaky hammer punches that don't do any damage. But that's just me. And then women's unranked, there's just zero skill whatsoever. I mean, who starts crying on the scale? Like, that's kind of weird. But going into these fights, the fights that are actually happening, first one, Oliveira versus Dyer. Who cares, dude? Honestly, who cares? I'm not even. I don't know either of these fighters, so I can't really make a prediction. So we'll move on. Shamrock versus Abdul Bakar Al Baghdadi. Um, I guess we'll go with Shamrock. I mean, I think he has kind of the name value. The UFC wants to make him a star. He might actually be the underdog in this, which I think is interesting. I don't know too much about this guy. I mean, we'll take a look. Let's see who he's beat. Because, I mean, no wins in the UFC. I know the guy Shamrock lost to last time was pretty solid. Guy has a lot of canceled fights. Lost to this guy who I have literally never heard of. I mean, who. Yeah, we don't know who this guy is. Beat George Hardwick. I mean, that's a guy that exists. That's a guy, I've heard of. That's a dude that he exists, I guess. I don't know. But Shamrock, I think he's kind of been a name merchant, an interesting personality merchant. He claims that he is your mom's favorite fighter. I don't know if that's true or not. I would have to ask her. But I think Shamrock is actually underrated. He actually does have skill and is not just a name and personality merchant. Next fight, we got Louis Sutherland versus this guy. Louis Sutherland, he comes from a long line of vanilla guerrilla fighters. They always end up on a losing streak. That's how every vanilla guerrilla who has ever fought in the UFC has ended up. They end up on a losing streak. He's kind of blobbed out. The dude was definitely on some sort of PED. I mean, you look at him in this picture. That's not the frame of an unranked heavyweight, dude. That's the frame of a guy on PEDs. And he's looking kind of blobbed out these days because we actually drug test in the UFC. It's actually a thing that happens now, so you can't really cheat. Regardless, neither of these guys are very good, but Pericic. Well, let's take a look at this guy. I don't think I've ever heard of this guy before. I'm not really paying attention to unranked heavyweight. It's not really on my radar. Got a performance of the night. I mean, you don't see that very often in heavyweight, I guess. Not a whole lot to really go off of. But the fact that I haven't heard of Alicia Ellison either, we're gonna go with Louis Sutherland. Unranked heavyweight, so it's either going to be a first round knockout or they're both going to be gassed going into a third round decision. One of the two. It's always that happens. Next fight, we got Troccoli Broccoli versus that guy. So it's Mackenzie Dern's old boo thing against this guy with a crazy ass name. I haven't heard of this guy either. I mean, Who is he beaten? He's beaten nobody. But we're gonna pick him anyway because Trockley is, he's still riding that high of dating Mackenzie Dern. That's all he's really known for because he's not a good fighter. So we're going with the guy with the long name. He's probably gonna win. I mean, it's Trockley, so you don't know how this guy's gonna lose. He can lose in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he's just dynamic like that. You never know how he's gonna lose, but he will lose. And yeah, 0-3 in the UFC. Yeah, that's about sounds about right. Next up, we got Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco. We're going with Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto. This is actually an interesting unranked heavyweight. I mean, this is a true unicorn, folks. There are no unranked heavyweights that are interesting besides this guy. He can do it all. The dude, he's not blobbed out. He's actually in decent shape. He can grapple, but it's not just smudge grappling. He can hit you while you're grappling. This is a novel idea, especially for the man headlining this card, Mavzar Evloev. The dude knows how to grapple, but he hasn't quite figured out that you can punch while grappling. You know, this is a dynamic element to his game that Mario Pinto has developed. Punching while grappling. And he's undefeated for a reason. I think he's gonna win this one. Nathaniel Wood versus that guy. I've heard of this guy. I don't remember who he's beaten. Black Panther, Bud. You're not the Rizzler. You're not the real Black Panther. I mean, I've heard of him. The guy had a good little run in Octagon. Uh, But with stuff like that, you never know how it's going to translate into the UFC because we've seen some guys that have gone on ridiculous runs, not just Octagon, but like Bellator PFL, which is supposedly the next best organization to the UFC. But that has never really worked out. The only guy that's worked out has really been Volkov. Chandler, he has a losing record, I guess, but he's kind of entertaining. Eddie Alvarez ended up 500, but obviously he was champion. So I just don't trust guys based off of good runs in other promotions. Nathaniel Wood, obviously on home turf, dude is a crafty little guy. I mean, he's sneaky good. I mean, 10-3 in the UFC. I mean, not necessarily any insane wins, nothing crazy, but I think the being at home actually has experience at the UFC level. I think we're going to give him the win here. Mason Jones versus Alex Sola. Who versus who? Who are these guys? Like the names vaguely ring a bell, but like everything else on this card, who? Oh he was the dude that fought Jeremy Stevens. Okay, now yeah. Dude has not bad, not bad. We'll see this guy. Reese McKee, okay, who cares? I mean, this card is just horrendous. I mean, I'm not going to make a prediction. Who cares? We got Mr. Pink Panther himself. They're giving him the Sean O'Malley shorts, which I think is an indication that the UFC really sees something from this guy, that they think this guy's going to be big time. Obviously undefeated. Um, so not only is the UFC high on him, he's high on himself. I mean, he hasn't lost yet. I mean, there's nothing much you can say about that. Against Danny Silva, who, he's Danny Silva. I've never heard of him before. Who was he beat? Split decision against Lucas Almeida was his last win. I mean, this is a guy of all time. We're going with Pink Panther because by Sean O'Malley shorts. And all right, we're up to people I've actually heard of. I mean, the fact that we're on the main card and it's just people I haven't heard of is kind of crazy. This really is just maybe the most ass card of all time. I am totally open to be proven wrong when it actually happens. Like I hope it's bangers, but I really don't think it will be. Roman Dolidze versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Roman Dolidze is ass. I mean, this guy sucks. And I don't know how true these are or not, but I've seen reports out of Georgia that this guy's kind of given up on fighting and is really checked out. And against a pretty solid fighter like Christian Leroy Duncan, like this dude is not, you know, he's not going to make a title run or anything. Uh, but I think this guy is someone who can really he can go somewhere. 30, so he's got a few good years left in him. Losing to Armin, that's not very good. You don't want to lose to him. Yeah. And then losing to G Rod, RoboCop, it's not a bad loss, but it is a loss nonetheless. But I think he can make a sneaky run into the rankings, and I think he is going to finish Dolidze. If, regardless of if these reports are true that he's checked out, I just think he's better than Dolidze by significantly. Next, we got Ewo versus Austin Lane. This dude Ewo had a crazy fight against Ebo. Um, I mean, that was just slaying and banging. They were going crazy. It's a fight to get someone into the sport. That was nuts. And then Austin Lane is a can. He's 1-4. He's just a can. They're putting this on the main card because Ewo is going to win by knockout, and it's going to be a pretty brutal knockout. And I can tell you that, you know, for certain that is going to happen. On to the next one, MVP versus Sam Patterson. The most random fight on the card. Like, what is Michael Page doing? The dude is 50 years old now. You know, he's getting his AARP checks in the mail or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what AARP is. I just know it's for old people. Social Security checks. That's what I'm thinking of. Sam Patterson is a guy that exists. I mean, I don't know why he's looking like golden there. It's a weird picture. Dude's 29, one or has beaten nobody. Has beaten nobody. But he does have a good finish rate. It's very interesting. He's a good finish rate. And we know MVP is a bit of a decision merchant. He's a bit of an aura merchant. He's a bit of a highlight merchant. He has very good highlights. But in actual practice, his fights aren't often that entertaining. Uh, but, whenever you have one of these fights where you're like, oh, is MVP going to win? You question it. You're like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. He always just outspeeds the guy, out points the guy, out emotes the guy. And you're like, oh, great. Another 30-27 decision for MVP. That's awesome. He lands like two big strikes a fight, which when they actually knock the guy out, he has some ridiculous highlights, but they don't usually knock the guy out. But I think Michael Page by just being faster and having more aura. Next fight, we got Luke Riley versus literally nobody. The Texas kid. I've never heard of this guy. He beat Lucas Almeida and lost to that guy. I mean, who cares? Luke Riley's gonna win, maybe by finish. All right, Chrome crashed because I'm on a freaking poverty ass laptop, but whatever. We were just talking about how Luke Riley is going to beat absolutely nobody by finish, probably. And then we got the main event Sport Terrorist versus Sport Terrorist. The ultimate decision machine versus Leon Edwards Jr. We got Lerone Murphy and Mavzar Evloev. Mavzar Evloev is going to win by decision. Lerone Murphy is so easy to take down, dude. If there was a slight gust of wind in the arena, I think it would take down Lerone Murphy. And, I mean, both of these guys have a very interesting habit of fighting down to whatever opponent's level they're facing. So, like, you'll see they have a lot of split decisions, a lot of close decisions when they're fighting people who really they should not be going to close decision or split decision with. It's very interesting to see undefeated fighters do that. Because usually when you're undefeated, you actually have finishes and interesting dominant fights, but neither of these guys really are capable of doing that. I pray every night neither of these people become champion, especially being the ones to beat Volk and retire him. That would be horrible. And luckily, I don't think either of these guys beat Volk. I mean, Evloev, the dude is incapable of hurting anyone. You see those Instagram posts where it's like, would you survive 5 rounds with a UFC fighter for $50 billion? If it was Evloev, yes, I could survive 5 rounds for $50 billion. The dude could not hurt a fly. He's incapable of damaging anyone. And Lerone Murphy, he actually has he has 2 knockouts, I believe. 2 cool knockouts. One where the dude's trying to shoot a takedown on him, and he hits a perfect knee and just puts the guy out. And the other one, obviously, was a spinning elbow against What's His Nuts from Bellator, Aaron Pico. That was actually really sick. I mean, that I was not expecting that. And I think the exact same thing applies to this fight. If he doesn't hit some crazy Hail Mary highlight knockout against Evloev, he's just going to get smudged the whole time. It's going to be a very boring fight. I hate to be so negative, but this is a sport terrorist fight. This whole card's kind of ass, and I'm pretty disappointed in the UFC for this one. So you know, eh. Like I said a million times, call me a casual all you want, but like most of these fights are just absolute nobodies, and the main event is horrendous. You would have to pay me to go to this event, but we'll see how it goes. I'm open to being proven wrong. So I'll see y'all.